So why
why
are we
I'm
here
yeah
today?
yeah why I'm here. Well, I started with writing a book at about 5 years ago. I'm still writing, and because people said it is so interesting what you have seen in your life and how you struggled and how you get through. So perhaps you should write it down. And I wanted to write it down, especially for friends and family. And so I started writing. And then a few people, I said, well, you have to really come out with it and help people. Well, I don't know if I can help people, but
Mhm.
I know from out of my work that experiences are really, really important to share. And that was my work the last 40 years.
You are moving a little bit fast. What kind of experience are we talking about?
Life experiences and especially heavy experiences, terrible word, with also depression, getting out of depression.
Hmm. Hmm. And
So uh, yeah, well, people will read parts of the book. We didn't start with the book yet, but uh, when I have gone through all this, I noticed several things in the mental health where I was. And from there out, I thought things have to be different, things have to change. So I started more than 40 years ago with my work, 16 years voluntary and later on paid. And from there out, I work now for all this time as an experience expert, which we have even still more in Holland. It's very nice to have them in mental health, but also in poverty and so on.
for the people that don't know, what does an experience expert mostly do?
Well, I'll try to explain the difference between having experiences and being experience expert. Everyone has experience in their life, and when you have a rough time, you have certain experience. So you're going to think about it. You're going to reflect on it. When you go a little bit further, you're going to read about it. You're going to share with other people who have the same experiences. And from there out, you can become here in Holland experience expert, which means that you have a helicopter view from things that are happening, or a helicopter view about psychosis or depression or poverty, whatever. And you know how to handle with them. You can make a policy on changing things, and you know how to help people when they ask for it. Uh, how to help them.
All right. So, what would be the summary in one sentence of what you do?
One sentence. That's not so much.
Yeah. Nope.
uh, Trying to stimulate people to acknowledge uh, that they have perhaps a problem or something, but you are more than your problem. You are beautiful people, and you have your qualities and so on. So you can live with the problem and still and making your qualities better or things you want, and be happy.
Mhm. All right, that wasn't one sentence, but good example.
No, but
So
it's
we
not
want
a subject for one sentence.
no. No, but you have to understand that most people on TikTok, they cannot listen to a sentence for 1 minute, a description of a job. So it has to be one sentence.
Okay.
Um, but the idea is this. Today we are talking about the experiences with feelings and emotions. And we're gonna talk a little bit about your questions that were asked to my mom's account right here. And also, we've uploaded a new video today on this account, so be sure to check it out. And I think the basis is just from now on, we are going to share pieces of the book my mom has been writing over the past 5 years in a video format on this account. And it's gonna be like a autobiography. It's a kind of like a life story. So it's not some novel, guys. It's all real experiences. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think it's okay what you said. Well, Ed, I only can add that if people have questions, they always can ask me, and it's up to me if I give answer. But normally I do.
Yeah. I would say maybe now is the right time to do an initial round of basic questions about what my
Yeah.
mom just said, about what she just explained, about her 5 years of writing the book. Do you guys have any questions? Right now, I'm seeing a good one. Devi said, "Can you explain to me what you mean when you say you are more than your problem?"
Yeah. And normally we all have the thing of negative thinking is easier than positive thinking. And if we have a problem, we're circling around in a problem. So I don't talk. Take a normal problem? I know. I mean, you are not seen. Well, that's quite a problem. But you feel you are not seen. Then that is the thing. Oh, I'm not seen, and no one knows. No one likes me. This or that. Sure, that's what you feel. But is it true? And what can you do about it? So, do you love yourself? What do you think about yourself? Is it clear if I tell this?
It makes it a little bit more clear, absolutely. Absolutely. I saw somebody asking about the book. So the book is being written. It's not done right now, but we are
Yeah.
going to share pieces of the book in a video format on this account. So if you go to Advice by Mom, you just go to her account. That's where we upload videos related to this topic.
Hmm.
Any other questions right now for an experienced expert? We can wait a moment. She's writing a book. Correct. Well, just writing down your experiences, right?
Yeah, I wrote already a lot of my experiences in the book, especially about my childhood, uh, where a lot of things happened. And after that, my way through life and all the things. I mean, everyone who has had bad experiences can be triggered later on in life too because of that experience. So I try to show my journey in my train, because for me life is a train, and now I'm on the point after my depression. So there I have to start again. What have helped me? What was my journey through mental health? what helped, what did not help, and how difficult it was, but how I got where I am now.
Yes. So it's just about someone's life experience going through all these different emotions and feelings. And that's what's being discussed also today. She's speaking about bad experiences, yes, but of course also the good ones.
Yeah, sure, because for me it's important that we can help each other by speaking about experiences, but also about life doesn't end if you are in big trouble. Uh, and especially talking about it is very important, but also find help from people who can help you to find your way back.
Could you explain the train a little bit more, maybe? That makes it easier for people.
Yeah. Well, I started a book, and I always felt that I was in the train of my childhood, where my father and mother were the how do you call it, machinist, the train machinist,
Engineer.
engineer, and later on I got my own train. I got my train with my husband and my children, and so my train was different in different periods. The important of the train is that I have people in my train who I love. But sometimes people don't love me anymore or argue with me and get out of the train. Um, and that's difficult. It can be very, very difficult. But you have to cope with that.
Mm.
But you sometimes new people come into your train. So it's an on and an in and outgoing of people on the train. Some travel with you your whole life, like my mother, although she's dead now. And other people are just for a while in my train, or come back later again in my train. So for me, life is a train ride with a lot of passengers, and they help me or don't help me. I think everyone helps you to find your journey, to find your train journey.
Yes.
I hope people
Uh, the
understand
train
now.
just helps to the train just helps to visualize life as it goes on. You know, you pass by different stations. The train sometimes changes. People go in and out of your life's train, and it makes it easier to picture what we are talking about.
Yeah, and we have the fast train, and we have the slow train, and we have different countrysides. We have different kinds of weather. Sometimes I got on the train, I got stopped. I couldn't go further, so I had to reverse myself. Uh,
Mhm.
that's the story of the train.
Yes, yes. And what has your experience so far been with at least sharing parts of your story with people? Have you had any negative responses?
No, actually not. But it is also, I think of my work now. That's also because I worked also on a university, and I teach students about having experience and do something with it. They're all health cares in the future, and they are very very interested. And they always say, "You can explain how it feels. We can only see it in the books, but you can explain how it feels,
Mm-hmm.
what it did to you." And if it's about clients, we call not patients in Holland, but clients. The nicest thing is the acknowledge and recognize what someone says. And people say often to me, I only need one word in my story, and I see that you can understand because you were there.
Hmm. Yes, we are. I think what my mom is emphasizing is that mental health is not something you can only, learn from books. It's also something that when you get it from people who have been through these troubles, who have been through these things in life, that can help you out in a different way instead of, just Googling how can I deal with depression. You can actually talk to these people who have been physically and mentally through these things in life. And I think that is a very valuable thing to have.
Yeah, it's very valuable, and it's nice that there are caretakers and people like me, because the combination is that good. Because I don't have all the knowledge about special illnesses or whatever, but I know how it feels to be stuck,
Hmm.
and how difficult it is to get forward, and what society tells about you, how difficult it is to find work, uh, all that things. So that's
Hmm.
nice, because people, that's the whole thing. People feel that they are acknowledged in their problem, and I listened to the story behind the story. Because what I mean with that, I can tell, oh yeah, I in my childhood, my father left me, and then, you know, very simple. But what did this story with you? Who were you then? So that's it.
Mm. Exactly, exactly. And so today we wanted to talk a little bit about, because we have had this account for a few months now, and we wanted to talk a little bit about some questions that you guys have asked. My mom is clicking on buttons she shouldn't be doing, but I can summarize it for you. Um, there are a few questions you guys have asked, and that's what we'll be answering today. And we'll also be talking about um, your the idea we are talking about. So, what kind of friends you should be talking to, and when you feel bad, what you just should be doing. Um, so that's what we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about how would you define depression?
Well, let me say that uh, there are every depression is unique. I mean, everyone is unique, so everyone's depression is unique. Although, and that I know from my work, there is a line that you can say, okay, this and this and this you always find in depression. For me, depression was being in a, how do you call it in English? A pit, a well, in a well. Pit is well, yeah. And deep down
In a
in a
dark
well,
place.
and yes, and I only saw a little bit light far, far away, and I couldn't, I didn't know how to get out to the light. So that was the feeling.
Hmm. Yes,
And if
depression just felt like you were stuck and unable to reach the light.
I'm able to reach the light, and at a certain point, I didn't want to go to the light anymore.
Hmm. What would be your advice if you think people can relate to your description about feeling being stuck in a well or in a dark place? What would your immediate advice be?
That depends also on the situation. But the first thing is get help. Um, and help will say, for me it was to speak with someone, not necessarily right away an healthcare taker, but in this case it was my mom. My mom never left me, and she is the one who kept me alive.
Mm-hmm.
Important is for the people who know people who have depressions that you listen,
Mm-hmm.
but do hear something. I mean, there's a difference between I'm listening to you or I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessary. I mean, for me, it was terrible if people wanted to give me right away an advice. I just wanted people to know what I feel, to see my my big strangle with all the things in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know someone, and don't say that's one of the things on our side too. The biggest mistake I made, I was before I myself got sick, working as a
Mm-hmm.
secretary on a psychiatric part of the hospital. And there was this man, and he came in for the 35th time. And I walked in and I said, "Oh, you see, it's nice weather outside. You should go outside. The birds are singing, blah, 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 blah." I know now, that's not good. I mean, imagine that you're so deep and someone says, "Oh, we're going outside, we're going to have fun, and we're going to buy new clothes." If you're so stuck, you only want to survive, or you don't know how to survive. So for me, that was, yeah, okay.
I think wanting to help someone out is always good, but you have to know in what way you can help someone out. And in this case, you're describing a way that didn't work. Just because when you
No,
are feeling like you're in a depression, these things they don't matter to you at all.
no, no. You just need
Mm.
attention and love and a shoulder uh, to cry on, but especially someone who hears you, who stands beside you, not above you, but beside you. Someone who does not say, "Ah, but why?" and you have enough, and you have nice children, you have this and that. That doesn't help. For me, it didn't
So,
help.
so, so instead of what doesn't help, what do you think does help now that you know how to deal with it better, or because of your own experience, what would have helped you in that moment?
Well, I would have been glad if I could speak with an experienced expert then, but they didn't exist then here in Holland. But what I said is, don't, ja, veroordelen. Ik weet niet wat het woord is. Veroordelen. What's the word in English? Oh yeah, to judge. Never judge a person, especially not when someone is in a depression. Just be objective. Sit with the person together and without anything in your head. And that's difficult. But just say, "I'm here for you. I want to help you, even if you can't, but you can by listening." And then help this person together. So I always ask people, "What do you need now? What do you need?" And sometimes it's difficult to find an answer on it. But together, you perhaps can find out what the person needs to get out of the depression. And sure, actually mental health is or mental health, but find a healthcare taker, whoever it is, but who has also the
Yeah.
ability to help.
Yes. I think it all comes down to the definition of empathy, which is very important. It's just being there
Yeah,
for someone and trying to understand how they feel and in what situation they are without putting any kind of judgment on them and without trying to solve it. I think that's a big part. Trying to solve
yeah.
somebody else's problem even though you haven't really listened to them yet.
Yeah, don't start right away with solving it because it's depression or other things can be more complicated than you think, and it can be actually you have to be very. It can be dangerous if you do if you advise things that can. Well, you never know. I mean, I work
Hmm.
40 years now in this part of mental health or whatever with clients, and even I from time to time think, oh no, I'm not going to say anything now because this is going too far for my experiences. Here he has to go to see a psychiatrist, psychologic or whatever, but not me.
Hmm. All right. Yes. So we are talking about healthcare professionals, but people also understand that in most countries, which are not the Netherlands, maybe this kind of
Mm,
healthcare is either too expensive for people or people are just
mm,
too scared to take the step to a professional. Like,
yeah,
is there an in-between step you would recommend to people to do instead of that healthcare professional?
yeah. Find someone in your neighborhood or your family. Can be your parents or your sister, or find a friend who who will help or who wants to listen to you, who wants to think with you how to get out, who wants to help you to
Mhm.
to solve. Well, you can't solve it right away, but give you a positive view. And so you don't have to
Mhm.
go right away to healthcare because in Holland we have at the moment a lot of young people with depression. And when I was young, when I got this, of course, I was on schools with young people to tell about depression. And I noticed that most of the young people don't want to talk about it or don't want to talk about their problems or being abused or which is happening a lot because they are ashamed, are afraid that they will lose their friends. So but that's the start. I mean, if you try to speak about your problems or what you feel or whatever, and you do it even easier than, so you start with it. There are people who are not going to go. They don't have to go to the mental health care or whatever because they can cope with it. So, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yes, yes. But taking a step back, talking about these friends you could go to, what kind of characteristics should you be looking for in someone if you're trying to talk to them? Because maybe these days people have like 1,000 social media friends. So which one is the right one to talk to?
Yeah, well, I don't think social media is good. Is not good for that. But that's my judgment. Because
I mean,
it
but
must be
not
alive.
talking about social media in general, talking about the individual. If I'm talking to a person, what kind of things should I be looking for in them?
Well, for me, it starts with intuition. Does this feel good? Do we have the same chemistry? sort of same chemistry. Um, Someone who is empathic. Uh, yeah, well, how can you describe it? Um, it has to feel safe.
Mhm.
And if you don't feel safe with the person, I always watch out then.
Mhm.
And so, but
Yeah.
I'm actually interested. I don't know if it's possible, but if people can tell what what person they see if we talk about this.
Mhm. Sure. And how can you show as a friend that somebody can talk to you, that somebody can trust you?
Well, trust. I don't think that we can always give 100% trust to people. But what I do, I mean, there are people now also with problems around me that I say, I'm here for you. If you want to talk about it, call me.
Mhm.
We make an appointment. I come to you. You can come here. And know one thing for sure: everything you tell me is is a secret, and it stays with me. And
Mhm.
what sometimes helps is that I share my experience with them, and then it's easier for them because they know, okay, it's not she has been there. It's not strange what I tell her, or I don't have to be ashamed for it, or so.
Mhm.
That's yeah,
Saying that sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers because of the fear of judgment from those
yeah.
close to you. But in this case, would you suggest something like that, like a anonymous online forum or something like that to talk to people?
Well, I don't know if there. I don't know in the other countries where the people live from here. We have here forums, especially for depression or psychosis or whatever. And that is there are people who are you don't see them, but you can chat with them. And then I say yes because it's easier. Uh, you don't have to get out of your house. They don't see you, and that can sometimes make it easier to talk about your problems. So it's just not only a no; it's also a yes. But these forums here in Holland, they are. It's not someone who. It's not a person who thought, "Oh, I made a forum or made a chat." So figure out before
Mhm.
if it's okay.
That's why I'm asking, how can you recognize somebody you can talk to?
Yeah, yeah. But that's the point. Point. I think that to everyone over on who is watching now, feel your gut. They say in America. I'm not from America, but feel your gut. So it means go inside, sit down, take a rest, and feel inside if it feels okay with the person. That's not 100%
Mhm.
guarantee. Not. But most of the time, yes, instinct, that's true. Most of the time, for me, 98%, my gut has, my intuition is knows it.
Yes. Yes. Again, we're getting the same comment about strangers. Listen, I know it's easier to talk to strangers because you don't have the fear of judgment, but you have to understand that a stranger is a coin flip. They could instantly put anything online they just talk to you about because they don't know you anyway. You're a random person on the internet. So why would they not share your sad sob story on the internet? You gotta be careful, and you gotta, I believe that talking to strangers, even though it's easier, when we're talking about your personal feelings and depression, you definitely have to watch out with.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And
you
even,
see it happen here in China a lot. That a lot of private messages are just shared on social media like it's nothing.
yeah, and that's the problem here in Holland too. And there are a lot of people who get problems over that. And it's very sad what's happening, but that's also the internet. So, but even if it's about, it's easier to talk to. Do you know if the strangers actually want to hear or want to help you? I mean, a nice example, if I go to the supermarket and I'm going there and someone is going walking through me and said, "Hey, hi, how are you doing?" Actually, everyone says, "Okay, I'm fine." But one day I mean, I wasn't fine, so not going to say I'm fine. So one day I said, "Well, do
Hmm.
you have half an hour for me?" And then they walked
Hmm.
away. Of course, they weren't actually not interested. It's just, "Oh yeah, how are you?" Oh, okay. It helps.
It's normally just a general niceness, yes. And often, this is why in English I never teach people to say I'm fine because it doesn't tell me anything. You could be good, you could be get bad, you could be feeling absolutely horrible, and I wouldn't know. So I always ask you, okay, but how do you really feel? Did you have a good day? Like, how have you been? Like
Yeah.
real interest, not just general niceness.
Yeah. Well, not the whole world can have a real
Hmm.
interest, and I don't want that. I'm always glad if I have one or two people around me or friends, because I don't have so many friends, because a friend is a big word. Um, but the friends I have, I love them, and I know they're real friends.
How do you know they're real friends?
Well, it's not that they are there every week, but they are there enjoying us, of course, when we want to go to do something nice, but also in sadness, or that I can call them in the middle of the night, and they are there. It's 100% knowing they are there, and I do the same for them.
Hmm. Hmm. And but how do you know they're gonna be there? Like, have you had the experience before, or is it the gut feeling you're talking about?
Both. It's both. I have had experience with one of them, the other one not yet, because it's a new friend. But the way she is and we communicate together, I'm sure. No doubt. That's my gut.
Good. Good.
But yeah, you
So
can be
let's
disappointed.
take. Absolutely. So let's take it a step further. So say you have one of these friends. You know for a fact this person is trustworthy. When you're feeling bad, how do you start talking to this person about how you feel?
Uh, well, normal, this person, we ask each other, how are you doing? And then
Hmm.
I'm honest. I have learned to, I mean, when I was young, a long time, I had my mask. Like a lot of people, you see it on the internet a lot. Everyone is happy and everyone has this and that. Well, we didn't have internet, but well, it's always okay with me. I put some makeup on, and so everything was fine. And then after in my therapy, I learned that it's better to throw off the mask. And then you don't have the friends anymore you have, because I lost all of those friends. But you can be yourself. That's so important. And then you have to find out who am
Mm.
I, because that's the following part. But I don't want to have masks anymore. No, it's over. I
Yeah.
am who I am.
Sure. Um, yeah. But in this case, like you're kind of waiting, you're saying how are you to each other. Do you think it would be okay if one day you're just feeling bad? You just talk to this person and you're like, hey, today I'm not feeling good. Can we have a talk?
Yeah, that's what I do. I do that already. I say it's not going well. I've terrible. I sleep terrible. I'm feeling not happy anymore at the moment, and well, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
Hmm.
and
So you would
everyone
just tell
should.
them like, okay, I'm not feeling good, and then you just start to have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah, and just by talking it, it helps me because um, um, it helps me. Sometimes they say things, and then I think, oh yeah, I didn't thought about it. Or it helps me to reflect on where I am with my mind, with what I think.
Hmm. Sure, sure. Do you think in that case these friends are more of like a mirror for you?
Yes, but everyone is a mirror for you. Everyone, everyone
Sure,
you
but
meet on the
talking
street or
specifically in this
whatever.
case.
In this case, it can be, yeah, it's well, I think everyone's a mirror. In this case too, but for me it helps because it sometimes it puts me back. Get out of your thoughts. What actually are you saying now, and what did you want to reach before? Because negative thinking. I heard a meditator yesterday, and he said we have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts on a day. Well, and normally we
Mhm.
negative thinking is easier than positive thinking. So
Sure. So, what do you think you're looking for when you're talking to a friend and you're sharing your bad feelings with them? What is it you want out of it, out of this conversation?
actually, it's the sharing who is most important for me. Uh, then I'm not alone with it anymore. We are together with it. And even
Mhm.
if it's not a problem of that person, I've shared it. So we say in Dutch, I don't know this one in English. Gedeelde smart is halve smart. That's a
Mhm.
good one, but I can't do it in English.
Just try to say it in easy English. No need for idioms.
Oh, okay. Uh, when you share, when you share your problem, it's half the problem. I think so. That's a translation in easy English.
I think it's I
So
think
yeah,
it's when you are sharing your problem, it's half the solution. Like you're starting to um, get to the good side of things again.
yeah. Well, I think it's more what Trinity says here. Shared pain is half pain. The solution is not there.
Mhm.
It's not always there, but only by sharing it, it's the half. It's giving more space. Inside. You're not alone with it anymore.
Yep.
Uh, you can
Mhm.
share it. So someone is a partner now of this problem, although they don't have to do something about it, because one thing, whatever you get on help, on sharing, on whatever, you have to do it yourself,
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
And what do you
Yeah,
have to
so it
do?
gives a
So
sort of relief, right?
yes, That's a good word. It gives relief. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. Yes. I think that is very important. When you are talking, number one, you know that somebody is there for you and you are not alone. And number two, you are sharing these feelings with someone else. You can sort of vent with people to get it out at least, and maybe to get some useful things back, like she explains, like a mirror. Um, I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are not
Mm.
alone, but you can feel alone all the time. And we live in a society which is getting more individual, even. I mean, I'm 65, and when I look back, it's getting more and more and more and more individual. And
Mhm.
that's what I think is so important, that we realize that we're on this earth together. And so that's so nice. That's why I follow your stream, not of course also to see you, but all those people on your stream is so nice. You are united in English class, and that's beautiful.
Yes, this is what I said about, I think it's the video for tomorrow. It's about social media, trying to use the social part of social media to improve not only your English, but you can also, actually find people. And specifically these days, social media can be very negative about a lot of things, not only news, but just people sharing the biggest drama of things. And I think finding the beauty in things like this, realize this is TikTok, it's the same website where you can see all this crap. You can also unite and find other people to talk to and also to learn with.
Yeah, and share those things as we do today. Because I
Mm.
saw someone say, I'm feeling alone. Well, I hope this helps by knowing that you are not alone. We're in it together. And that's difficult to feel if you feel alone. But try to
Yeah.
find one thing. Okay, I work from out of recovery. And recovery comes from Australia, which means find one of the part is find out what is your source of which source can help you, and that can be a person, but it can be your faith. Some say God, or that's okay too, or it can be a dog. So find out what source can help me. It can be everything. But
Mhm.
everyone has something
Mhm.
which helps them not to feel alone or get more active or whatever.
Exactly. You have to find the thing that you think can help you out, and it can definitely also be pets. I know my dog helped me out
Yeah.
a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, well, animals do a lot with children too, even if it's a rabbit or a hamster or whatever, because, well, pets are very nice because they don't talk back. That's very nice.
Mhm.
And you can cuddle with them. And but I mean, it can also be a book or a meditator. I mean, I do meditations. I have two good meditators, which I listen every day. So find your
Mhm.
source, and of course, try to talk about it. Say out loud, "I feel alone." But it all starts, and we will have sometimes, I think, a bigger theme about it. It starts with accepting and loving yourself. I figure music is sure it's good too. I found it that years later that I didn't love myself, that actually was the problem of everything.
Mm.
and that's difficult to learn.
Sure. So yeah, we're suggesting, you'll find this friend and how to find this friend and how you can talk to this friend. But in the end, your friend is your friend. Your friend is not a healthcare expert.
No.
It's not their sole reason being your friend to talk to you about bad things, because I can imagine if I have a friend and they only come to me when they feel bad about things and they do this every single week, it's gonna influence me too in a bad way. Um, at what point
Yeah.
at what point, if I have bad feelings, should I say, okay, I shouldn't share these feelings with my friend anymore, or I'm going too far and I should find a healthcare expert? Is there a moment like that?
I think that's personal. Well, if you talk a lot with your friend, and he can only speak about negativity or his depression or whatever, sure you get fed up with it. Um, Actually, my mother said at a certain moment, "Sorry, my dear, I can't help you anymore. This is going too far. You reached the border, and you certainly have to find now a healthcare worker."
Mm.
And sure, you can be honest to your friends. Why don't you say, "It's so difficult what you tell me, and I want to help you, but as I can't cope with it." Be honest. I mean, a person who is in problem or has psychiatric problems or whatever, um, is still a normal person and feels the same as you. No one wants to talk all the time about problems.
Mhm.
But one issue for me important is that we can share everyday fun together and luck together and so on. Okay, that's positive. But what's the difference in sadness and happiness? Well, everyone can say, "Ooh, it feels," yes, but it is a feeling. It's also an important feeling. If you never feel sad, you don't know what happiness is.
Mhm. Well, I can expand on this because I've been, I think, in both situations where I have helped out friends who were feeling bad in one way or another. And sometimes it will be fine with me. I could talk to them for hours. I would talk to them
Yeah.
about how they're feeling, what they think they should be doing, and no problem. They're my friend the next day again. But I've also had moments where maybe I'm not feeling as strong as I normally am feeling. And I just have to tell my friend, today is not the today I cannot talk to you because I'm dealing with my own things. And it doesn't mean that I'm not your friend anymore. It just means I also have my own stuff to deal with sometimes. And I'm not your doctor every single time. You cannot expect me
Exactly.
to be there 100% of the time for you, because I'm also a person with my own feelings. And I've had sometimes so much negativity from one person, just always complaining, always saying this is bad and that is bad, and I don't have friends, that it has a negative effect on me. And I just have to say, stop. I'm sorry. I'm not the right person for you to talk about this
Yeah.
anymore. I want
Yeah.
to be your friend, but I'm not your doctor. And
Yes.
you have to draw a line at some point.
Yes, you're completely right, and you do that because, well, you're not a social worker or a healthcare worker, whatever, and the nice thing what you do with this is that you don't see this person as a patient, or you're equal. You're both adults, you're both grown-ups, and you're both looking for the path that you walk. And so for one is it more difficult than for the other. But the person you talk about, I know, I've known, that I thought it was a friend of me. I've known one, and she only talked about what happened, and she was this. She was a victim the whole time. And there was one moment I said, it's over. I don't want to see you anymore. Yeah.
And that's the point. It's hard because sometimes you know these people need help and you are not the right person, but you are the only person they want to talk to because maybe they don't trust professionals, they don't know professionals, they don't know how to do these things. And then you have to tell them no. And that hurts. It hurts to tell your
Yes.
friend or even somebody you might not know, but you know needs help, to tell them no. And that's rough. But you gotta think about yourself too, because you're a person just like them. And if you keep getting all this negativity in without getting any sort of positive friendship for it, then yeah, it doesn't work well on you either.
No, and there's nothing wrong because people sometimes say, well, that's egoistic. No, being a little bit of egoistic is not wrong. I mean, if you love yourself, uh, you you set you say, okay, this is it. Why not? Because you love yourself. You do everything to be happy. To happy is such a word. What is happy? But that's for everyone different. But to feel good. And when someone all the time comes and tries to get, he sucks it. I mean, is that a good word? Out of you, then you don't love yourself if you permit this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that is hard, I
Exactly.
think.
Yes, mom needs a little break. She gotta go, you know. Gotta go get a drink, get some tea. Um, so far, guys, so far we've talked about how to talk to friends, how to recognize those friends, and until what point you should be sharing. My mom will be coming back. But at this moment, do you have any questions for me, maybe? Because just now I told you guys about my experience with friends, and I've had a person like this maybe a few weeks ago. Because I am an online character, so people come to me, even they don't know me, they will share their problems with me. And I've had it where somebody literally sends me 30 messages in a row about how lonely they are, how sad they are, and they want me to talk to them. And I'm like, you gotta stop sending me so many messages. I know how you feel. I wanna talk to you, but I have my own life and my own things to do. I cannot talk to you the whole day, all the time. And you have to understand this. And sadly, this happens all the time because people just don't know how to talk to anyone close to them. So it's much easier to talk to me because you see me on the stream every day, right? So you can send me a message about anything in your life. Listen, you know me online, and that's a good thing, and you're always welcome to talk to me. But I am not a healthcare expert. I cannot answer 40 messages every single day from you. I mean, I have my life and you have your things to do, and you should have somebody much closer to you you should be able to talk to. And I had to ban this person, not just delete them. I know this person has problems, but they just kept on messaging me, kept on calling me, like it was my duty to help them. It's not my duty. I am just being nice to you. I will reply you at the start. I will always give you advice if I can, and I will always reflect what you have back to you. But I have to do my things and I have my life. So at some point, instead of you actually needing help, I just feel like it's more of an attention thing where you want to have somebody to talk to and tell me. I am not that person because I have so many things I also need to do in my life every day. Just imagine if somebody is sending me 20 messages every day and 10 people do that every single day. Then for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm doing nothing but talking to these people. This is not my life. So this is why I made it a rule that I will never pick up your phone call, because if I do it for you, I have to do it for the other people. And that's fair. I just cannot, because I have to do my things too. And it is sad to see that there are people like this that think that talking to a stranger is always better and feeling like they have nobody close. Listen, there's always somebody close to you. You just haven't opened your eyes to it because social media is so much easier. Texting is so much easier than looking somebody in the eyes and saying, hey, I got a problem. Can I talk to you? That's painful. That's hard. And but that's sadly the thing you kind of have to do if you want to look for help. And I am your teacher, absolutely. I'm your English teacher. This is what I'm telling you guys. I am not making a joke when I'm saying I'm not your boyfriend. I am not. I'm your English teacher. Do not make me feel guilty for not sharing the love you share for me with you. I teach you English, all right? And if you have any questions about life or whatever, I'm happy to answer them. But I'm not gonna answer 20 messages a day with just you because I get a lot of messages every day. I have to do my own things too. And every second that I spend extra on you is time I cannot spend English teaching to thousands of people. So in one way, it's very egocentric if you do these things. And that's why I banned this person, because they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and calling, and it's just so distracting. And it's sad because you know this person is not in a good place. But I have to realize I am not the right person for you to talk to. I am not the right person for you to share this with. And I'm definitely not your boyfriend. And I get it these days a lot. I don't know why, but people ask me if I want to date with them, if I want to meet them, if I share a love with. No, I'm your teacher, all right? I can also be your friend, but in the end, we are online friends. I am not a friend that's close to you, that you can put your shoulder on and talk to and share these things with. It's much better if you have somebody that's close to you, except me. And I think that's an important lesson you should take. So it's about finding the right person close to you. It's about knowing what to share with this person and know that there's a limit. Okay, your friend, he has, maybe he's your friend, he doesn't have all the responsibility in the world to help you because they have their own life. Do not forget this. But yes, you should be talking to your friends about these things. You should just be like, hey, today I'm feeling bad, can I have a short conversation with you? And that's okay. But don't keep doing that every single day because it takes a toll on your friendship. In the beginning, it makes your friendship stronger because you're sharing these things with each other, and it's a great, great thing. But do not expect your friend to be your doctor, to be the person you're always telling bad things to. Because I can tell from personal experience, I do not want to be your friend if the only thing you do with me is tell me your bad news. Like, tell me when you're feeling bad, but you never come to me when you're feeling good and you want to, hang out with me. Go talk to a professional. And I have no experience with talking to professionals, but I know in some countries it can be very difficult talking to professionals because the culture is different. For example, here in China, healthcare professionals are very different from healthcare professionals in the Netherlands. While in the Netherlands, you set up an appointment, you meet this person, or they come to your house and have a conversation with you for half an hour, 2 hours. In China, sometimes your whole family comes with you. That's a totally different setting. So then I understand you do not want to talk to a healthcare professional. But there are always people and friends and communities. Just look around. Just look around and find out, all right? Because you are never alone. And you have to realize one thing, and this might sound hard, that your problems are not unique. That whatever you're feeling right now is not unique. And a million people have felt this too. And you can find these people to share your story with. because you might think you are unique because I'm feeling so bad now. Poor me. No. Look around and find these communities where you can find these kind of friends if you don't have them close to you. Physical is always better. People in your vicinity, like where you live, always better because that physical part can definitely help out a lot. And of course, a hug. Hugs are great. And I just want to mention one more thing before I add my mom again. Somebody before said activities can also be a very good release. Yes, instead of friends, of course, talking to friends, there's a lot of different ways you can deal with this. And one of them is, of course, improve your dopamine input. That's the happy drug. So for some people, it's running. For me, it used to be cycling. I really enjoyed cycling. If I was feeling bad, I would just get on the bicycle and cycle for an hour, no matter where, just to get, just to think for myself, to write it out. And it would help a lot. I would come back home and I would feel much, much better. And some people don't talk to others. That's okay if you know how to deal with it yourself. But the moment you feel like you cannot deal with it, talk to someone because there's always somebody there for you. So I want to just go back to the beginning. I'm talking to my mom today, not just because it's my mom, but because she is a healthcare expert. She's an experience expert. She has been through all these things we are talking about, these bad feelings, depression. She has been through all these things. And I think later we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the important thing is that she thinks, and I believe too, that sharing these things is very important. Yes, she's an expert in the field. She has taught these things in university. So it's not just an at-home thing. And we also decided to have this talk today on the live stream because some of you messaged my mom on her TikTok account. So we thought we address these things in person. And of course, if you still want to talk to her, you can. But it is quite hard sometimes to reply. Because again, my mom also has things to do. And if you send her a question, a very personal question, it can easily take half an hour to bring up a good response in text, like when you're not personally talking to people. So, hello everybody, good evening. Let's reset. Let's see if my mom is here. Mom, if you're here, just send a message because I cannot see right now if you're here or not. And we will talk again. On her account today, we also shared another video. I edited a new video, and this is the beginning of the book that she is writing. This is the beginning of the book that she is writing. So it is an autobiography, as you call it, an autobiography. From next week, we're gonna share from chapter 1. Nice, Mom. In Dutch too. I like it. What is her TikTok name? You're gonna get it in 3 seconds. There it is. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Good break?
Yeah, and I couldn't get in. I was not allowed to type anything, so I did it to your widget, but then I got out and in again. So, yeah, old people
Oh, it's
and
fine. Yeah,
internet.
old people and technology. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Hello, everyone.
Anyway. Yes, so
Yeah.
just let's just start out with cheers, guys.
Yeah, I have my water. One thing you said recently, and about people writing me on the website, or no, it's not a website, but you're right. I can't give an answer so easily because that is even scary too, because I people can say, I am abused, what to do with it. That's too easy. There is a whole story around that. So I will not give answer in this way. And even what you said,
Hmm.
I have my things too. I have my voluntary work and so on. I thought about that, and I think this is good that we do this here. So perhaps once a
Hmm.
month or whatever, and that people who have their questions wait till we're doing this again, or
Yes.
I don't know how, but otherwise we could have made perhaps in the future a chat where we can chat together. But for now, I
Yes.
think so.
Let me take a
Remember your
second.
questions.
And well, we are here right now, so they can ask some of the questions right now, right here.
Yeah,
But let me take
yeah,
a second. So this is my mom, my real mom, and if you want to follow her TikTok, just go right here, advice by mom. I edit the videos, and from next week we're gonna share parts of her book. Um, and this is just about so it is the videos that are up there now is for inspiration and motivation, and we're going to share some quotes with you. We're going to share a part of the book, and we hope that this experience can help you out with the feelings you have. That's the main idea of why my mom came to TikTok, right?
yeah. Couldn't said it better.
Good.
Yeah.
So, having said that, could you just one more time share with the people because they're asking, are you a psychologist, psychiatrist? Can you tell them what you have actually done in the field of mental health?
Well, actually, I first had the experiences by having a hard life, and then got a deep depression, and had to find my way out in mental health. And from there out, I wanted to change things in mental health. And that especially had to do with the attitude of people, of the mental health caretakers, which is a big issue here in
Hmm.
Holland. And we have a client movement. I was in the client movement. They don't call it this way anymore, but in the Netherlands, it's a very big movement. England has the same, and I thought I have to do something with my experiences from there out. So that's what it means. You have your experiences with something, and then after that, you are going to think about it. What did it do with me? How did I got out? So you're reflecting on what happened. Then your step further is you're going to talk with other people who have the same experience. You're going to read about it, and so on and so on. And
Okay,
then
so you
finally you
are
get experience
regressing.
expert. Yes, yes.
Yes, you are regressing. So let's get back to the point. How long have you been an experienced expert?
Almost 45 years now. So I was
Hmm.
very young when
That's
I
an
was so
important
ill.
point.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this case, guys, it's not about a written education like learned from books. It is just about a life experience and also a job later as an experienced expert.
Yeah, experiences,
So,
a lot of experiences from other people also.
yes, I think this is a good moment to do a Q and A, to do a let's start out with some questions and we'll try to answer them in a short-ish fashion as we can. So we just said, Jenny. We just said Jenny asked, "How long have you been experienced in expert?" No, not an experience in expert, an ex experience expert, which means you have gone through all these things by yourself, and now you are teaching them to someone else.
Yes.
45 years. Any other questions? I saw a question just a little bit above, which I can probably answer. How to deal with toxic friends? Do we have to live with them? I would say no, just instantly delete them from your life. They don't do anything beneficial. Um, that's my advice. Throw them out.
Yeah. 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 You're right.
I've also had this question before because I've also not had it with only friends, but also family, toxic family. And this is much more difficult because that depends on your culture and it depends on your relationship with them. I mean, if it is extended family where you don't really talk to, leave them and try not to talk to them at all. But if it's your mom or dad, it's becoming much more complicated. So that really depends on a lot of different factors.
But this question was, can crying help with problems? And it's that's for some
Mhm.
people a normal, but a lot of us are not allowed to cry. And crying or sadness, there's one thing. We all think it's normal to laugh. We all embrace laughing and lucky feelings, but we don't embrace our sadness. And that's the whole point. What I learned actually the last 8 years is that embrace also the sad feelings. They wanted to be seen. And at the moment that you
Mhm.
admit that you are sad or that you have sad feelings, embrace them and let your tears flow. They're beautiful, your tears. They're
Mhm.
as important as your smiles. Don't become your sadness, but embrace it and know
Yes.
it's part of life too.
Yes. I would not in my case I wouldn't put it like this. I would say it's important to accept that at some moments you just feel worse than you feel at other moments. Sometimes you're just having a bad day. Sometimes you just have terrible emotions and you're not feeling good about those. But I would choose action over just simply acceptance and
Yeah.
accepting that that day you're gonna cry. I would say, okay, I'm feeling bad. What am I gonna do about it to improve it at least 1%? Like, what can I do to make it better? And that's how I always look at these things. And sometimes it can
Yeah.
be as simple as, okay, I'm gonna take a walk outside, get some fresh air, and that's gonna help me. Um, and sometimes it has to be a talk to someone else. It can be different things that help me get over that feeling that I have. But I would never
Yeah.
accept it as being there and just waiting it out. I would always take action to try and improve it.
Yes, that's okay, but don't ignore it because sometimes people ignore it. I don't want to feel sad.
Yeah.
No, no one wants to feel sad. And that's the
Well,
same
it's
with
not
the
even
other things.
ignoring.
Sorry?
It's not even ignoring because you know it's there, but a lot of people will
Yeah.
try and push these feelings away, and I think that's the big problem here.
Yeah, yeah. You have to accept them, and if it's about feelings or something else, actually, it's the way how you react also on it. You know, you can be in sadness and stay in the sadness. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, that's possible. I have done some. Sometimes I have a day that I think, forget it. I don't want to do anything more, or I'm lazy or whatever. That's okay. That's no problem. But if it's a week or 2 months,
Hmm.
or then you're going the wrong way. And someone asked it also about stress. Everyone is unique in how to cope with feelings, different feelings,
Mhm.
or what do you do with it. And when it's about stress, for me, it's try to find once a day a period, a time. If it's about stress feelings, for example, someone asked, for me, it's important just to take time in your agenda once a day that you don't have to do anything, only 20 minutes, half an hour is okay. Sit down,
Mhm.
relax. For you, perhaps music helps, or I do meditation, and then breathe. It's also breathing.
Mhm. Yes. And my advice when it comes to stress normally comes from, in this case, I would be talking about work stress, maybe a lot of things you have to do, should be doing, or want to do. When it comes to me, I create a to-do list so everything is more organized, and I always focus on one thing at a time. Sometimes I have to accept that the thing I want to do today, I just cannot do today, and that I do them one thing at a time. And try to focus on the things you can actually change. Because often stress is a thought about something in the future, and we cannot do anything about that right now. So take the thing you can take an action for right now and focus on that completely, and then move on to the next thing. Like, take it step by step, and you're
Yeah.
gonna feel much better about it.
Yes, and that's
And I
nice that you
also,
tell that. Sorry,
mhm. Yeah, continue.
what you told about the future. Eckhart Tolle is good in that, and I always it's difficult to live in the now, but the past is over. The future doesn't exist because it's not there,
Mhm.
and we only have the now. But I'm still trying to live in the now because that's quite difficult because your mind is oh yeah yeah so
What about the opposite? How can you, when you're feeling angry, how can you convey those feelings in a correct way?
Actually, there was yesterday a meditation for this week a meditation about it, and it was very good. What we do is actually before the sentences is out of the mouth of the other, we already have our answer. So when you're feeling angry with someone or having a quarrel, uh, just just breathe for a while. First, 60 seconds, he says. Just 16 seconds. Breathe in and out, and then you get out of your mind when you're breathing. So and then
Mhm.
try to reflect on it. There's always two in the quarrel, and what is my
Mhm.
role in it? I'm not as much as angry anymore as I was, although I don't like injustice, and that makes me angry from time to time. But if it's from a person to a person, I know I got myself with my angriness. I get pain in my stomach. I get really. Does it help? No. So I try to stay calm, which doesn't say that I don't have my limits. I love myself. So it's nothing, no one is allowed to walk over me. No one. But
Mhm.
I see that now much in the voluntary work. There are a lot of people with problems. Everyone has his trigger. People get upset by something and they have the trigger because of something what earlier went on. And often people have quarrels or are aggressive with someone, and it's not about that someone. That someone was only the drop in the water. You know what I mean?
Listen, the problem with anger is that you cannot rationalize emotions. So even though you feel like this now, when you are angry, you're not gonna follow the rational steps, the logical steps of breathing and those kind of things. The most important thing you do, um, when you know you're gonna feel angry, or situations you know you're gonna feel upset, find out what triggers those situations. Like,
Yeah.
what makes me angry, and how can I prevent becoming angry in the first place? Like, for me, I never become angry at all. And the reason is because in a lot of situations, I, for example, know that whatever the person tells me is nothing personal. Maybe it has to do with how they're feeling at this moment. Maybe it has to do with an idea, but it's not for me then to become angry back. And I also know that anger doesn't solve anything. I've seen this many, many times that, people are just shouting past each other. They're not even talking to each other. There's no communication. It's just let me shout out my feelings, and that's gonna make it better. But it never does that. It never does that. So, and the third reason why I'm never angry, because like like what we said before, the other person is a mirror. So if somebody else is angry with me about something, and I'm just really, really calm, and I just stay really, really calm, eventually they're gonna calm down. And eventually, even though they do not have this self restraint of breathing or recognizing these moments, eventually you can have a normal conversation about, okay, what is wrong? What can we do about it? And how can we move on from here?
Yeah. If you want to be alone, is that a mental health problem or something? Something I wrote. No, if you want to be alone, there are a lot of people who want to be alone, who are glad with themselves. Then I think it's great. It's okay. Um, I think you don't move anymore, my son. So I don't know if it works now. Okay. So
The phone, mom, there you go.
yeah, yeah, it was lagging. Okay. Being alone, if you like it and you feel fine with it, there's nothing wrong with it. Great. Why not? But being alone because you're afraid to meet people or to socialize, I think you should do something about that because uh, it's good to meet other people. Uh, sure, when we spoke about having quarrels, it's not nice, but other people, you learn from other people. Other people learn from you. So
Hmm.
no problem if you like to be alone, but only being alone, I don't think that's good for you. But that's my idea. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Well, for one, this has been a debate for a long time because some people say that humans are social animals, we're supposed to interact. But on the other side, we have the terms introvert and extrovert, which I personally believe in. And also from there, it depends what alone means for you. Because if an introvert says they want to be alone, it's very normal. Because for me, if I'm alone, I gain more energy than if I'm outside. Like if I'm on a Friday night in a social group of 10 people, maybe I have 3 hours of energy and I'm just done. I just want to be alone. I don't want to spend more time with these people, even though they're great people. I just need to reset with myself at home. But when an extrovert says they want to be alone, it can mean something totally different. So it depends
Yeah.
also in what state of mind you're in at that moment. Maybe it's just you need energy. Maybe you just want to have some time for yourself, or maybe you're hiding from things. You're trying, not to meet people, not to find new friends, and hope that whatever you're feeling gets resolved by just being alone. And
Well,
also, the
that's
last point I would
yeah,
make, that there's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. These are two very different
yeah,
things.
yeah. You're right. Yeah. And I like to stay alone, being alone. Not all the time. I mean, I want to once now and then I go to the pub and meet friends or do something with friends or see a film. But I like more and more being alone. And actually, I'm glad about it because when I was young, I couldn't be alone. My happiness depended on all the people outside of me, and even a relation. I needed to have a relation, otherwise, I couldn't be happy. Now I know that it's not true, that it has to do with self love. But so now I'm glad to be alone.
Mm.
And sure, it's nice to share things, and sure, it's nice to have a friend to cuddle with or whatever. But it's not necessary to feel happy for
No.
me.
I Yeah, I think one thing is important that I can give you an example right now. For the last 10 days, I've been inside. I haven't even been outside. You could say, like, I enjoy being alone. I enjoy this time. But this is a choice. It's not because I have to. It's a choice that I'm making right now. But in the back of my mind, I know that if I want to meet people tomorrow evening, I can go and meet people. I am not lonely in the sense of I do not have these friends. I do not have the feeling to be with these friends. It's more like it's a choice to be alone right now. And I'm very comfortable with it. And at the
You,
moment I start feeling uncomfortable, I can switch. And I think that's important.
yeah, you're right. But
Mm,
if it's a choice because you are afraid to that people will hurt you or whatever, or that you don't want people to show your how do you call it, vulnerability, then it's I don't think that's not a good idea. Then that is, if that's the reason, I advise to really find someone to help you to go outside.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yes. Like, I do believe that even for the biggest introvert like me, social interaction is a very important thing. And maybe it becomes even more important the older you get. I don't know if this is a feeling I got, but it stays important throughout your life to go outside and have
yeah.
these people that can be there for you and to socialize with these people.
Well, they gave you new visions, new ideas, new opinions. Um, it's very interesting to meet other people, but being alone is also good. I mean, going inside and feel what you, and it can be music or you can dancing in your own house, or but it's possible, and I never thought it would be nice to be alone. If I would see myself several years back, I wouldn't thought that I could be alone and be happy, and I can. But
Mhm.
I'm glad with myself.
And that's very important that you find this piece of self love where if you have
Yeah.
nobody else, at least you have yourself and at least you are satisfied with the person inside of you.
Well, you actually you have only yourself. I mean, you come here alone and you go alone when you
Hmm.
die. And meanwhile, you meet a lot of people and you can have a lot of friends. But the one who knows you the best is yourself.
Hmm. Yes. And somebody is saying, I feel very related to this. He's saying, I'm introverted and I feel I need to socialize a bit more. Yes, definitely do that, my friend. I am also an introvert, and I have definitely moments where I'm like, I should really go out and talk to someone and do it, not just think about it. Go and do it.
Can you give him a tip what to do then?
I mean, I know I if I ask a friend on an evening if he wants to go out and I haven't talked to this person for 3 weeks, they will because they're my friends. So I know that they're there, and if they want to hang out, they'll be there. And otherwise, it depends where you are, but there's always communities where you can meet people. And even just online where you can, even if it's just talking there to somebody in a voice call or chat, that's a good beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just saw someone who said I have always anxiety in the group. I would like to hear why.
Well, when it, for example, comes to English speaking, it's a lot of the social expectation. It's a lot of feeling insecure, not confident about your own abilities within this group, and that's natural. Like when we are kids, kids are very good at joining groups. They're very good at recognizing social patterns within these groups, like joining a game. And if as adults we do this wrong, then we will automatically not be accepted within this group. So there should be a piece of nervousness meeting with these new groups because it's going to make you more focused on getting to do the right thing within these different social groups. But in the end, it depends obviously where you're from.
Yeah, and it depends on the country or the culture. I think so too.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I
Yes,
thought
like
about it. Yeah, okay, tell.
yeah, like most of your questions are not very easily answered because it depends on a lot more than just
Yeah,
one emotion or one thing. It's always your background, your culture, how were you raised, who are the people around you, how are you feeling, what's your experience in life. Like everybody is so unique that there's no one answer for the same question with different people.
no,
It's always different, and that's the trouble. I think that's a big issue, that in general we want to give the same answers but we can't. We want to give you
no,
all advice in 1 hour but we cannot.
no, and I think that's yeah. Well, it would be nice, but I thought about it last night and about the cultures and the countries. I think that we have one thing in common, although I'm not sure about all the countries, but especially in Europe, that we learn at school reading, writing, all that kind of things. English in Holland, quite soon, always. But we don't learn how to socialize or to communicate or to love ourselves or to recognize the other person in its own being. And that's a lack, I think. And it would be nice if we could learn it on early stages. Then I think, we wouldn't have so much problems with the things we talk about it now.
Hmm. I think if everybody at least got a basic understanding of these kind of topics, that would benefit a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, I'm a parent. I have pet parents. We all have parents or have had parents. Um, and if you get a child, you do it out of your heart. You give them what you think is the best for them, with food, but also with your things. And I think that I mean, I say to a child, don't touch that because then you burn your hand. Okay, that's okay. But how often I now know and think sometimes about it, how often didn't I want something for the child, although it would have been better that the child would have tried it out of himself, not when it's dangerous. But for example, I know a person who has a son who wants to go on ballet. And then she says, ballet? No way, he's a guy, not on ballet. And then I think, why? I mean, if this is what the person wants. But one thing, parents do their best and they do it out of love most of the time, and there are always exceptions. And they only want their children to be happy, because when their children are happy, the parent is happy. And
Mm-hmm.
in that's why we sometimes give the wrong advice or say no, it's difficult to have children.
Yeah. What would be your advice to a parent about these specific topics we just talked about? For example, maybe you recognize that your kid is feeling bad about something, you don't know what. What would you recommend
Yeah,
to these parents?
well, that sure is a very difficult one, because you see the sadness of your child. Or I spoke last week with someone, his child is depressed, and it makes her so sad. Sometimes it depends on the child. If you still have contact with the child, my mother could always have contact with me, but it's not always possible because someone can be so introvert that he can't speak about
Mhm.
it anymore. Um, so look at, as parents, search for help. Start with help for
Oh.
yourself. And perhaps, well, you can talk with your child, but if your child doesn't want to talk with you, you have a problem. Um, so try to find someone who the person will talk with, but search for help, because this is a really, really difficult problem for parents.
Mm,
Really. And
sure,
the problem is
sure.
also because you have symbiotic, you have another kind of relationship. It's so close, the relationship. Sometimes it isn't close, and is that the problem? But then I think. So I can't give a real good advice over this.
I, I would say that the best thing you can do as a parent or as a friend for that matter is be the right example for them. So instead of just telling them what to do, you should show them what to do. Like, do not be the one that tells your kid, oh, you should be doing this, and you're not doing it yourself. I think that's
That's
one of the
true.
most important things.
Yeah, sometimes we started with this. Perhaps there is a story behind the story that people are acting like this or feeling like this. So perhaps you can find out
Mhm.
what's actually going on. And what I've learned, and that's nice because that comes from out of the practice from a client. People sometimes, children, but even adults, have sometimes a very strange ideas about what they want to do. We think they
Mhm.
are very strange. There was a client, and he wanted to be in the circus. Well, actually, if you see his body, it was not the good idea, but also the way he thought or whatever. But this was his life goal. He wanted to go to circus. Well, then you have health cares, but also parents who say, oh no, you can better not do that. And what's your future? And you have to earn, you know. And instead of that, there was, in this case, experience expert, and he said, why couldn't we find out if this really is something for you? So he had to figure out, and he went to the circus and he talked with the circus. Now, to make a long story short, actually, he wanted to go to the circus because he wanted to work with animals. So that's the story behind the story. And he he works now in an asylum for dogs. So, and he is happy because he works with animals. You see the
Mhm.
difference? You can say, no, that's not good for you, or say, okay, let's investigate this.
Mm. I feel like the most visual example I could give of this explanation is I've taught children here in China, and in my class there would be maybe 18 children. And what you see in children is what there is. Children, they do not know how to lie except if somebody told them how to lie. They would always just be themselves. And you would see that all these kids, they're very different from each other. And we had one problem child in the class. He was always a nuisance. He would always try to beat up other children. He would always just act terribly. And we would never know the reason why until we met the parents a few times. And we realized that the parents had no clue how to be parents. And the parents were always fighting with each other, and the kid would always hear this. So this is like the behind the reason, like where
Yeah,
things come from. And
yeah.
we have also had, for example, a very shy kid in the class. She would never want to really make friends with any of the other ones. And the reason for this was because, for one, she loved her dad more than her mom. And this is not very natural, but okay. But she was always treated like everything is fine, everything is all right. And she would never be told no. And she would never be told, okay, maybe you should talk to them, maybe you should do this. They would just be like, no, you can be by yourself. So we could always see the influence after we learned how the parents treated a child, how the child would act in class, what the consequence of these things are.
Yeah, well, that is the childhood, especially the first years of childhood, are very, very important. And the most important is safety. Uh, but one thing, everyone who is a parent or becomes a parent notice that, well, you don't get a study for being a parent. You have to do it from out of your heart, your intuition, what you know from your parent. And that is so difficult. And first things, most important, of course, is love. If there is love, there's a lot of things. But I have had a father, and I figured it out several years ago. Uh, he never had love. His father was not very empathic to him, didn't love him. So, how difficult is it to give love if you didn't get this love yourself? So, we can't blame our parents. Yeah, we make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we don't do it on purpose. We don't do it on purpose. But now, when I look back, I know that I should have given no, put less from my ideas into what I gave to my children. And that's good
Mhm.
because if I become a parent in my future life, I do it better. I do it different, not better, different.
Sometimes the environment, always the environment. The environment matters so, so much.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. and there are a lot of studies about it, but even there are a lot of people with problems, and actually the environment is one of the biggest problems. I mean, when you grow up poor, you already have a distance to a lot of things. And if you can't find work because you couldn't study because there was no money to study, so you don't have a diploma or something, um, then you can't. There are a lot of people who can't find work then, and here in Holland you get paid from the government, but that's really a luxury. But in other countries you don't get paid or a little bit paid. So where do you have to live from? So you start with the behind, and you stay in this behind all the time. There are a lot of people. There are people who can't get out, but you have to work very, very hard. So, yeah, the social environment is very important.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, I've been teaching these kids for a while, and you see that if you try to influence the social environment by including the popular kid in the shy kid's life, it actually helps and it actually changes them because kids are very changeable. So
Yeah.
helping them out in that way can be very beneficial. Just by
Mhm.
changing their environment. I didn't say anything to the kid. I just made sure that they're put in an environment which is better for them, optimized.
Yeah, environment is very important, but also very important. The most important is attention to a kid, and the love, and well, love is everything. Even if in psychiatry or mental health, you hear that there's a lot of problems here in Holland with youth mental health. And there was yesterday also a girl on television who said, I actually needed that they heard my story, that they would listen to my story and just give me a hug now and then and some love. And that would have
Hmm.
helped me more than all these conversations with the psychiatrist.
Mhm.
So, and that's true.
Hmm. For some people, it's just about being heard. Everybody has a different solution to their problems.
Yeah. And there
In
was
a
one
nutshell,
who, yeah, sorry.
continue.
No, tell. You wanted to say something.
No, I was just gonna go to the next comment, so we don't talk about one
Yeah,
thing
do
for too
that.
long.
That's okay. That's okay.
No, because somebody said, in a nutshell, environment plays a pivotal role in our lives. Absolutely, and kids are just the bigger example because kids are much more straightforward. But in adults, it's exactly the same way. In your environment matters, my environment matters. I these days begin to understand that I should put myself in the environment of where I want to see myself and not the environment where I might have been for the past 5 years. You know, if I want to develop, I need to find the people and the places that I see myself in a few years, or at least the environments that would be beneficial to me.
Well, one of the general advices, which is nice to for people who want to learn more, of want to more learn self-love. I did it myself, and it really works. Is that you have these little post-its. Everyone has them, or other little papers, and you put, for example, on it, "I'm worth it." I like myself, I'm beautiful, whatever. Things you don't feel, but you want to feel. And you put it on especially on the mirror, because you see the mirror a lot of time and then you see yourself on places where you come often. And then when you're there, talk to the mirror or say this what on the notes, and you will see if you do that a long time, that's how the brain works. It will finally find a way into your heart, and you are going to feel it. In the beginning you say, yeah, what I'm saying, I'm not beautiful. But in the when you do it a long time, it's going to work, really.
This
At
is
least that worked for me.
to summarize what she's saying, this is what I told you last week. These self-affirmations and this self-gratitude, it helps and it works and it
Yeah,
can make you feel better.
yeah. And another thing
Self-affirmations,
with
that's what it's called.
affirmations, yeah. And sure, with meditation, you also have affirmations. There's some good meditators. I don't do silence meditation, I always do with a meditator. And what is also nice, what we thought about negative thinking is more easy than positive thinking. So what I did for it it was a long time ago, when I got out of my depression, I had a notebook, and I wrote down the things I did on a day. And then I have to give a thumb or a high or down. Uh, or you can take some other symbol. And at the end of the day, I had to count it. How many thumbs up, how many down. And it's
Mhm.
incredible. There were always more days than where the thumb was up and not down. In my feeling, they were always down days, but they weren't. That helped me too.
Yeah, so that's a reflecting part, but indeed, it's what you guys also say. You are what you think, but you also are what you do every day. So if you are lazy every day, you're procrastinating, you're lying in your bed half the day, you're not gonna feel well because that's basically a waste of your day, and that's how you're gonna feel in the end, except of if it's your rest day, of course. So do something every day that, benefits yourself, at least in a positive way, like these self affirmations, but maybe just a walk outside, maybe talk to somebody. Anything like that is also going to influence the way you think and the way you feel. So,
Yeah, yeah.
mm. I believe in action and that action defines who you are. So,
Yeah, and walking is especially very important, because walking is a kind of meditation, especially in nature. And then forget your telephone, let it home.
yeah.
Don't take your telephone with you. Just
Yeah.
sometimes be without the internet.
And one advice with these self affirmations, because we've all heard them, like, I am beautiful, I am great. These are good, but not good enough. What I think you really should do is make them personal. Like, why are you beautiful? Because then when you make it into a story, it's much more believable and it's much more specific towards you. And it makes it easier for you to also really feel like that. You could say I'm beautiful because I'm acting very nice towards my friend, and I've been a good friend to others, and I've been treating myself well in the last few days. Like, make it more specific so it's easier for you to really feel like that instead of just a more general I'm great.
Nice saying. Yeah.
And yeah. And somebody is saying, stop saying I'm shy. Let's say, love and being confident. Listen, it's the first step. Like my mom says, accept it. Accept that at this moment you might not be who you want to be. But then also instantly, in my opinion, take action towards the other way. You can say, okay, if you're shy, you can say, I can be confident and I'm going to be confident. And this is what I'm going to do to get there.
Yeah, and I don't want to be 100% or perfect. I am who I am, and that means that I also can see the less sides of myself, because I'm not always the nice person. I can be that some people think, oh, you're not, well, I'm not aggressive or angry, but, well, I'm not a person who laughs the whole day, or I have my mistakes. I can be, how do you call it? Well, I don't know what, but we all have our sides we don't like, but they are also who you are. So accept them. That is who you are. That makes you unique. Even these sides of you.
Yeah, and I think this is where I differ a little bit from you because I do not like the word acceptance. Acceptance sounds like this is who I am and I'm not going to change. And I don't like that because I think if you want, you can change anything in yourself that you want. You can improve every single part of you that you want to improve if you just take the step to do it. And I think maybe a better word would be recognizing that at this moment you are not the person you would like to be, which is the acceptance I'm talking about. But then instantly taking action towards getting better, not just be like, okay, this is the person I am, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know how
No,
things work. Like, you gotta take a step towards improving it.
no, that's true because sure, to improve, yeah, to change, I don't know, change is something else, but to improve, I mean, when I was so ill that I was deep down, I had to, I saw myself in the mirror, and because through my behavior in my depression, I lost a lot of people, which I understand very well. And then I looked in literally I looked in the mirror and I told myself, hey, this is not working anymore. This can't be the one you want to be. You have to do something to it. And that's
Mhm.
why I found help, got in therapy, a lot of therapy. We'll speak about it another time, which helped me to improve myself. That's true.
Hmm. Most people have the problem of anxiety, and it's also especially a recent problem in these years with all the news and drama and all the things that every day come your way, all the bad things that make you feel that way. So, my advice would be focus on the things that you can control. Focus on the things that you can do something about today, to improve tomorrow. Because there's a lot of things you might feel stressed about, you might not feel comfortable about or confident in, but you cannot improve them right now. So just leave them and focus on the things you can do something about.
That's a nice
Mm.
advice. And to say something about this too, extra, for me, the whole thing starts with know who you are. Who are you? What do you want in your life? What makes you happy? What do you need for that? What is necessary? And then you can say, oh yeah, but I don't have this and that. Try to find a way to find your goal. First, find out who you want to be, and then your goal, and step by step. But stay with yourself. Stay with who you are or who you want to be, and ask every time, even in the relationships, because sometimes I saw the word relationships, toxic relationships. Makes this me happy? Is this what I want to do? Is this my way I want to live with someone? All those questions helps you and to figure it out. And when you find out you don't want it this way, so then find help or try to find out for yourself, what is it what I do want. If you have a no, and that's what I learned from all the relationships I had, is I have had a lot of negative experiences, but every time I know what I do not want gives me also the answer of what I do want. And it took for me a long time because of my triggers from my childhood. I always stepped into what I didn't want, but now I know what I do want. So that's what I wanted to say extra.
How did you find out what you did do want?
By every time getting into what I didn't want. It took a long time.
Trial
The
by
universe,
fire.
sorry?
That's how I say it. Trial by fire. You just keep trying
Yes.
and you'll keep messing up. And at some moment you're like, hey, this is actually not that bad. Which is
Yeah,
not,
well, and
it's not the great way to go, but
no, but I think life is growing, and you grow till you're dying. I grow every day. I learn every day. I take some stupid steps every day again
Mhm.
because I think the universe is throwing it on my path because you have to learn this. So again and again and again, terrible. But finally, I know, okay, this was the wrong distance. Now I'm going not to the left, I'm going to the right.
I would just say there's no one right way of doing this. Everybody does it in their own way and in their
Yes.
own time.
Yeah, well, some people are happily younger than I until they figure it out. And I hope everyone's
Maybe
very
not
young and
mentally
then
younger.
figured it out. No,
Hmm.
but sure, everyone is unique. Everyone has his path. No path is. Everyone is different. So, and that's why if you meet someone, do it without with judgment. You don't know what the path before was, what the path will be after that, why he or she is on the path in this way. So see the other one, which sometimes is very difficult, but see the other one in from out of love, because I believe we all come out of love. That's why where we come from.
And I am not that floaty. I'm more a rational person, but still, I think it's important to realize that everybody is different. And sometimes maybe your friends try to help you, but it doesn't feel like help. But just realize they do it from their own point of view, their own experience, and what might work for them doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
But they're still
No.
your friends. Tess,
Do
what do you think
you?
about taking medicines for these things, like depression?
Yeah. A medicine is not take. If you take a medicine, for example, for depression, with me it didn't work. But if it's only a medicine, then we don't do anything about the cause. I mean, if you have a headache, you take an aspirin or paracetamol, whatever it calls in your country, and your headache is gone. But what was the cause of the headache? So medicine, okay, if it's for a short time and just to support. I mean, with depression, you're sometimes so deep, and you have to get a level higher to can communicate again. So then it's okay. Uh, and there are always some, how do you call it, illnesses or other things that need longer medicines, or there are also illnesses, we know them all, the normal, not normal, but illnesses of the body also. on which we have to take medicine the whole time. So it depends. But important is to look for the cause, why you get the headache, why you get depressed.
How can we share our emotions with other people?
Yeah, well, by showing them. And that's difficult because it makes you vulnerable. And I think vulnerability, difficult word, is strength. For me, it's strength to show it. It's you show you are a man, and a human being. So I show your feelings. If we all would show our feelings and would throw off our mask, I think we would have a better and more lovely world. I'm convinced to that.
Hmm.
But it's our ego who tells us not to do because you never know. It's fear that we don't do. Fear is the most dangerous thing, I think. Through fear, people get manipulated or don't be too dare themselves. So that's my answer. It's my opinion,
I
it's
think,
not
yeah,
the opinion.
a fear of being judged often.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Listen, I
And
think
the
in
fear of losing someone.
yeah, I think in some situations, showing your emotions is the strength. Like keeping hiding them is just weak, and it doesn't help you out. Showing your emotions to the right people and talking about them can be very difficult, but very necessary.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. But fear is actually the most. Oh, when you do on Thursday the lyrics from the songs, I'm watching them, and it's all about love and so on. But there's always fear in it, fear of losing someone. Well, a lot of the
Mhm.
times in the songs. And well, if you have fear, I know it from myself. I've had a lot of fear in my life. And well, I wasn't myself anymore because of the fear, because I didn't want to lose that one. I didn't lose that one. And so on and so on. So I lived actually a long time of my life in fear and wasn't myself. It
Mm.
started with fear
Yeah.
for my dad, and then fear for my friend, and fear for that. Fear.
And so, how do you think you can get over this feeling of fear?
Pooh. Well,
Is
it
it just
starts
by
with,
talking about it?
well, you have to start it. It starts with recognizing that it's fear what drives you. If you recognize it, the fear is already a lot gone because you know it's fear. It starts with that, then talk about it, but also trust. Have trust in things. And I have trust not only in myself, but also in universe, God. So that's my source. And I I don't I don't trust all I see in the media or whatever. I figure it out, and if it's about a person, no, it starts with, oh, I'm in fear. That's the one who drives me to do
Mhm.
this.
Yeah. I think when I think about fear, I don't think I've experienced fear in a very long time. And the main reason being is that I don't really care about judgment that much because I'm mostly focused on how I think about the things I'm doing and if I believe that the things I'm doing are right or wrong. Um, so in that case, I wouldn't experience this kind of fear.
Oh, it's nice that you say that because then something came in. Um, if you have a lot of self love and acceptance, you're not feared, you don't have fear about what other people think because it's okay.
Hmm.
You are okay. You feel you are okay. And that's what you say. It's okay. This is what I do. It feels
Well,
okay. Just whatever people think, okay, that's their mind, not mine.
Well, I believe in some situations stuff is just, it is what it is. If I cannot do anything
Yeah.
about it and I fear it, it is what it is. I don't need to have fear for it because I cannot change it either way. There's nothing I
Right.
can do about it. And if there's something I can do about it, and I have already taken active steps to try and improve it, why fear it? I tried my best. That's all I could have done. And if things don't turn out the way I hope they turn out, then that's how it will be. And if that happens, at that moment we'll look at it again. But these are all if situations you normally feel the fear about because you don't fear now. You fear the future, which is not yet. And
Yes.
with me being so focused on my own actions and my own feeling right now, that's why I don't really experience that.
Very wise what you say.
If somebody lies to you, do you still give that person a chance? What do you think?
Well, yeah, depends on my relationship before that. I mean, if I have a good relationship with someone, we all make mistakes, and the person lies, and I find out, then we talk about it, and tell the person what it does with me. But if it happens again and again, yeah, well, most important thing for friendship is trust for me. And then I can't trust someone and not anymore. And then perhaps I'll do something nice with the person, but the friendship will be changed then. I'm not a person who kicks away people when they make mistakes. Um, Even I hear sometimes that I'm too soft, but I know now that a lot of people do things from out of their old triggers or whatever, and sometimes you know it from people that they do that, so I can confront them with it. But if I have a good relationship, then I have a feeling in my heart, a heart of love or something, and I can't put someone then because the person did this or that throw over the wall. I can't. I'm not that person. If
Yeah.
other persons can do it, I sometimes think I could do it, but I can't.
Hmm. I almost totally feel the same. I think it depends on the situation and how close you are with that person, your relationship. Like if it's an acquaintance, whatever. I don't expect a lot of them. But if they are my close friends, the people who I'm supposed to trust, and they lie to me for whatever reason, that's going to change the relationship if I want it or not. People can make mistakes, but in the end, it will change my relationship with that person. I'm going to see them a little bit differently than I saw them before, even if we stay friends. And absolutely, if they keep doing it, if they keep lying, for example, the difference between me and my mom is I have taught myself to get rid of these people. Even I've been friends with these people for many years. I've had some of these friends in China in recent years. Like I've spent hundreds of hours with these people, like hanging out, spending time talking. But then they lie to me a few times, or they do something that shows to me that they do not want to be my friend anymore, or they don't act as my friend, then it's easier for me to cut them out and be like, okay, maybe they were, like, we go back to the beginning, they're supposed to be in my train for life at this moment, and that's done now. So they can leave the train, and that's okay. No hard feelings. Maybe we met each other at that moment, and it's supposed to be this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's hard. It is very hard that if you have spent so much time with someone, to see them, not becoming your friend, unbecoming of your friendship. It's really hard and difficult and sad too. How do you know if someone has depression? That's really tough.
Well, sometimes you don't know. I don't know how this guy from the film, uh, how is he called? Well, it was 2 years ago. No one knew that he had a depression. Some people
Mhm.
can cover it very well.
Yeah, I
But if
think
you
that's the problem.
Well, yeah, especially if you don't know very well. But if you do know someone very well, he probably sent out some things or is getting different in his behavior or in his mood or so then you can recognize and happily, or happily, it's not the right word, but there are a lot of people who are getting down and finally into a depression who show it. But it's not always so obvious that someone is in a depression. And well, we're going now in the depression, which we have to do a whole team about. But one thing I want to say is that it's very hard. I always hear that people who want to finish their life, to say yes, that they want attention, and it's only that they don't get attention, and that makes me sad when I hear that because it's much more than that. But about depression, we have to speak a whole theme because it's too emotional to speak just 5 minutes.
I think recognizing depression, it really depends on the person. It depends on who the friend is, how they are normally acting. But for example, one thing, this is why I don't like when people say I'm fine, because I can tell you in at least 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times, if you ask a guy, how are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm fine. He's not fine. There's something more going on. And you should probably be asking him what. Um, but it depends on the person. Some people, like my mom said, are very good at hiding it because they've been hiding it for so many years. So their fake smile has become like their second personality. They're almost bipolar. You wouldn't recognize it if they stood next to you, that they're actually the most depressed people in the world. But the best thing I think you can do, if you suspect somebody has it, you don't even have to ask them. Just ask them, hey, how are you doing? And their response to that should give you an indication of how they're doing. Because if they say, oh,
Yeah.
I'm fine, the pauses in between their words, the way they're saying the words, their body language, it tells a lot. Um,
Yeah,
so
and a lot of
if you
people don't
suspect it
want to
in
bother
anyone,
you.
check up. Just check up on someone. And what another advice, what often triggers people to share their own story is sharing your story with someone. It's like, hey, today I'm not feeling so good. How are you feeling about this? Triggering someone else with your story is something that might also help out to figure out how somebody is feeling. What
Yep.
is the very best thing that we can do if we find a person who we know is depressed? I would just say, let them know you are there for them. Like,
Yeah,
don't
what I
force them to do anything, but let them know you're there.
yeah, you can easily also be honest to the person and say, I see you don't feel happy, or you're so you do I see it all right? Are you sad? Or, and if the person admits that it's not going well, we spoke about it, just sit down and listen. Listen. Don't give direct advice, but just listen. Only can ask, what do you need? What can I be there for you? You want me to be there for you? And what do you want from me? And listen, hear what the person is telling. Hear the story behind the story.
Somebody saying people are not prepared to hear the truth. It's because a lot of people just don't care. When they ask you how are you, they don't really care. It's just a nicety of saying, hey, how are you doing? But real friends, I think, will always be there for you if you are having an issue.
Yeah, but there's also one other thing, which I noticed, and is that depression, for example, depression is in this case the easiest. Depression,
Hmm.
we it's frightening, depression, because we all have our down days and thoughts of, I don't like it, what's happening, I don't like this life, I want to do something else, or so it's very close to yourself. And then when people actually say, I don't want to live anymore, is that two sides. You're sad because this person is not happy and wants to get out or whatever, but it's also confronting your own negative feelings. We all have negative feelings. We all don't want to get out happily, but we have from time to time negative feelings, down feelings, and that's confronting.
How to help a child that is feeling ugly with her aspects and people bothering with that. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You mean the child feels it's ugly and it feels it bothers others, or others are bothering the child? I'm not sure what you feel by that, but what I used to do to the kid that is, for example, shy, I would show them their qualities. I would try to show them the things they are good at, and then show them, oh, but if you can do this, you can also do this. You also got this. Just try it. Try it, and you will find out that you can actually do it.
Yeah, and I see the word now because I thought about it. I was really ugly. I was, and my mother tried to do something, because I had pickles all over my face, and my hair was bad, and so on and so on. So she tried everything, but they bullied me at school. Uh, so it didn't help. I was bullied all the time. Um, Actually, I didn't get help for it. I had to find out my own way, which was not the good way I did, because after that, and I'm still ashamed about it, I was the one who bullied, and that's
Mm.
happening often.
Yeah, we can almost do a separate live stream just about bullying because it is a very big
Yeah,
topic, of course.
yeah, terrible, terrible.
Hmm. Okay, I'm just writing down the questions so I don't have to do them later. I hope it helps, guys. I hope it can help you. Any other questions you can ask right now. If you have a question, just put it in the comments. We're reading all the comments right now, so Yeah, I think when it comes to a child, it's about empowering the child. If other people are bullying the child, if it's adults, you can do something about it. If it's other kids, let the school know, let know where they are. Take the child out of the negative situation, but tell them how to deal with it.
I just want to thank everyone who listened and give some reaction. If they have a question, that's what Lucas said. We don't know the whole situation, so I'm always very careful with answering those questions. And generally, I can give tips or advice, but I won't give more, and we can better do that here in the live stream. So you can also save your questions for the next time. But I'm very glad that we could do this, and I hope you have something effort from it or it helps you. And I only want to say, because Lucas want to talk what he's going to do, of course, this week further on. But for me, be kind for yourself. Don't judge yourself too hard. Be kind for the other ones. Know that also they have their triggers and their story, and uh, we're in it together. You're not alone. And ask for help. Ask. Please ask for help, even if it's very difficult. But the only way out is with the help of others. You have to do it yourself, but the others can give you support, an ear, and so on.
It's what she means is basically what I always tell you guys. Like, I can do this much for you when it comes to English learning, but you have to do most of it by yourself. I can only push you in the right direction, give you my suggestions, and you have to figure it out from there.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Um,
Lucas still stays, but I'm leaving now. And
yeah, I will just give an
again,
outro. And then,
yeah, okay, but again, thank you very much. And yeah, perhaps I saw it in the someone wanted to talk here. We don't know how it's going on, and we'll figure it out. And thank you for the
hmm.
compliments, and hope to see you again.
Thank you for learning English with me and my mom today, and see you all tomorrow. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good night, everyone.